Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Wire interview. I am your host, Lewis Carlan. The professional wrestling referee is an integral part of any professional wrestling match. Joining me today is one of the best on the indie scene. Some of the promotions she has worked for, and it's gonna take a few minutes to read them all. Noble Champions Group, NCG Wrestling, Divine Women's Pro Wrestling, All Class Independent Wrestling, Ohio Valley Wrestling, Lucha Libre and Laughs, Pro Wrestling King, Rocky Mountain Pro, Wrestling Revolver, Insane Wrestling Revolution, and of course, last but definitely not the least, TNA Wrestling. Very happy to welcome Alice Lane. Alice, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Wow, I am excited about that list. That is, I've said it in my head, but I've never said it out loud. And I'm like, wow, that's
Yeah, I mean, I'm out of breath just reading it. We're gonna have to take a few minutes to, and if I missed anything, I apologize. I'm sure there are a few more that I missed, but that's quite a list. That's quite a resume of promotions that you worked for.
yes, they're all amazing locker rooms to be a part of as well.
All right, so before we start talking about being a referee and how that all got started, I gotta bring this up. You
Okay.
posted a karaoke video, you and Daniel Spencer singing Summer Nights, and my goodness, you just went for it. You like were channeling your inner Olivia Newton-John. If there's a Grease audition coming, I think you should audition for Sandy 100%. But were you a little were you sober? You looked a little you had a few in you.
When I got there, they had a little drink that somebody didn't order. It was just there. So I had one of those. But Love Shack is actually my favorite song. So we did that
Okay.
one earlier in the night.
Okay.
And then he was like, hey, you have to do one with me. And he was like, what about Summer Lovin'? And I was like, all right, let's see what I can do. So we had a blast. Grease was one of my favorite movies, like growing
Oh,
up.
yeah,
Daniel
me.
loves that. So
Yeah, I absolutely love. I was a kid when my parents took me to it. It was a great film. And yeah, I you said Summer Lovin'. I'm a big Reese fan. It's Summer Nights, not Summer Lovin'. Summer Nights. Summer Nights. Just- remember when you go to the audition, it's Summer Nights, okay? Because you're gonna be Sandy. But anyway, let's last night you worked Insane Wrestling Revolution. Tell me about the experience. How did that go?
well, last night was all class independent wrestling.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay.
No, you're fine. Thursday night we had in wrestling revolution, insane wrestling revolution. And that was my first night there. It was Oh my goodness. The crowd was crazy. As soon as I got there, I got the rundown of everything, shook hands, got to the back, got my stuff on, and they were like, hey, you're actually the first girl that we've had that we know of for a referee. And I was like, what? I'm so excited. So I got that moment to be like, wow, they've never had a female referee. And sometimes people are just like, eh. And sometimes, I mean, I had some people on the way out, they were like, it's so good to see a female in there taking charge. And so
Okay.
some people, it's like really cool. So I was excited to be able to give them that and to have that moment. Rhino was very welcoming. Everybody was welcoming. But yeah, that crowd was, and that show was so good. It was so much fun. But yeah, last night I had all classes within wrestling. Another great show. We had quite a few matches. We had eight matches, and our main event was just you should go watch it. We'll just put it that way. It was
Okay, okay, I will. Where can people if people want to watch it? Where is it on IWTV? Where can they watch it?
yeah. Most everything that I'm on is on Triller. Everybody's
Okay.
pretty going on Triller right now. It's very easy to access, and a lot of people have it. So yeah, pretty much. Oh, and Facebook, a lot of us have been going live on Facebook too. So if you can go back and find those, that's another way. We're trying to show it as many places as possible.
All right. Didn't you work with Tommy Dreamer also recently?
I I did down the Wrestling Revolver. That was that was awesome. He was just supposed to kind of be there for the night, but Jake something got hurt, so Sammy Callahan had a nice little surprise for everybody, and I got to do the hardcore match, and it was oh my goodness, so cool! What an experience! And to be in the ring with Tommy Dreamer, Damian Chambers was in there as well. love Damien, but of course he can't play by the rules. But it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
We had to talk.
Big fan of Damian Chambers as well, but also, I I'm a little older than you. I used to go to the original ECW shows in Queens, New York with Tommy Dreamer when he was first starting out. So I've been a Dreamer fan for quite some time. Uh, but but not here to talk about Tommy Dreamer. We're here talk about Alice Lane. So let's go back to the beginning. What made you interested in becoming a pro wrestling referee?
Well, I actually got into wrestling later in life. And so when I got into it, I was like, these wrestlers are awesome, but they put their bodies and their lives in other people's hands. I am not great at that, but what I can do is be the first person to be there if something were to happen and be part of the action still and like help tell these stories. So I was like, let's try being a referee. So I wanted to be in it without being the main part of it. I just kind of want to help elevate the matches. And
So
referee,
you didn't want to take any bumps. You just want to.
well, I thought that, but we've
Okay.
had some happen on the way. So,
Okay.
but no, I'm a I like to elevate. I like to help. I'm more of a supporting role. So the referee portion was perfect.
So how does one become a referee? Do you have to go to a school? How did you what did you have to do to become a referee?
Yeah, it's quite a journey. So I found a school when I lived in Denver, Colorado, Rocky Mountain Pro, which is where I started.
Okay.
And I went in and I was like, hey, I have watched a few of the shows. I came to the live. Like, how do I become a referee for you guys? Like, can you train me? How's this go? So I actually learned how to bump. I started training with the wrestlers because it's very adamant that you know how to do these things safely because they will happen.
Yeah.
So I learned with them, and then they just started putting me in like mock matches, and they were like, "All right, just try not to be in our way." And so I was like, "Cool." And so the more that they put me in situations and they let me do more reps, the more I was getting at like, okay. And then you enter the cameras and I mean, they had everything there. So I was able to learn live and by training as well. So I went to a wrestling school.
Okay. So who has been the most influential to you during your referee journey?
Ooh, that is a great
I think
question.
I know the answer, but I'll let you answer.
Well, I mean, it's been 2 years. So it's been long and quick at the same time. But over those 2 years, I mean, Daniel Spencer's definitely he listened to me. He listened to what I wanted, what I was trying to do. Dewey kind of put me in touch with him and was like, "Hey, listen, I have an idea what you're wanting, but I think this is the guy you need to talk to." And as soon as we started talking about it, he was like, "Well, let's go." And he's just been like that ever since. So if there's something before or after a match, and especially if he's there, I can just go right up to him. I'm like, what about this? Or hey, I'm not sure. I think this. I think this. He's like, let's go talk to him. Let's figure it out. So I mean, overall, he's definitely helped me be able to step back and see either where I'm at or where I need to be in those cases. And he gets me really good bookings. He'll be like, "Hey, I'm vouching for you. Do you want this?" And I'm like, "Yes. Oh my goodness." I'm getting great experiences. So yeah, he'd have to be number one. But
Okay.
there's so many people that have helped me. Like it's insane.
Yeah, I like. Do you want do you want to work for the promotion? Yes, of course I do. Of course I want to work. Absolutely. Do you remember your first match and how you were feeling before and after?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, just posted about this one. So we would go in Denver. It's a big wrestling community, and one of the places we went was Beer House, Beer Stat. It's like a Jaeger House downtown, and they would have wrestling there, and people would come and drink and watch wrestling and have the time of their lives. So it was, I mean, hundreds of people there. So we go out there, and it was Balaam Lynx and Atiba, and I was like, guys, this is my first match. Please talk to me. And they're like, it's fine. There's a lot of people out there. We're gonna be able to talk. It's gonna be good. And we went out there. I mean, as the referee, you're out there first. So I'm standing out there with just the announcer, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm about to do this. Okay. And then they came out, and it was like the focus became them, which is what it was supposed to be. I went into the back, and I just helped make the match happen, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So there was definitely intimidation and nerves, but by the end of it, I was just like, yeah, this is awesome. I love this. Let's do it again.
So you're like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life then,
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
pretty
Okay.
sure until I just don't. But as of right now, I'm loving the choices I've made.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So how did the opportunity with TNA materialize?
Well, actually, I'm still technically just kind of I come in, I'm an extra, I help build the set. That's kind of how it started. They needed a little extra help on one of the loops,
Okay.
and I helped set everything up, the screens, the videos, and the ramps, and there was quite a few of us who did. And then I just started going out because Dewey Larson is a big part of TNA. He in the backgrounds and helps with the ring and everything. And like I mentioned, he's the one who introduced me to Daniel. And he was just like, come on out as an extra. Like, you have to show people that you want it. And to show people, you have to go. You have to show up.
Yeah.
So then after the first one, I made a good impression. He's like, just keep showing up. Keep showing up. So then, I mean, I just still help backstage. And whenever there's opportunities that arise, they see the hard work that I put in. And they're just like, hey, would you like to ref tonight? And I'm just like, what? So it's just being there, doing the work, and doing the work outside of being there as well. They see that I'm always out doing stuff. I'm always trying to get better. So I think an accumulation of those things have definitely helped me, and I'm so grateful for it.
So when they asked you to if you want to ref, you weren't expecting that at all, right? Were you
So
expect no? That must have like how were you feeling? Like, oh my God, I'm about to ref a TNA match. There must have been huge butterflies flying around your stomach.
they were. It was Tasha Steeles and Alley Catch. It was actually an explosion match,
Okay.
and oh, tonight, like me tonight. And they're like, yeah, like we want to give you that opportunity because I mean, they go places, they give other refs these opportunities, and I was there, and they just were like, you know what, let's give her an opportunity. And so I had that explosion match, and I've gotten these opportunities every now and then, along with these other. It's so cool being able to work with so many other refs. Like it's not just like I said, I get a lot of advice and stuff from Daniel, but when you work with everybody, that's when you really learn and grow because you have all these other people that you're learning from and working with. So that's just been awesome.
Didn't you work a TNA Knockouts Tag Team title match?
I did.
That must have been exciting. That must have been exciting.
That was one of the one matches where I just realized how much hard work can really pay off. I just looked around and it was one of the most grateful moments I've ever had. And then it's on.
There's a picture. There's a picture of you holding. Actually, I'm thinking about the titles. You look so proud. You look so proud. You're standing in the ring holding those titles, and you can see the proud look on your face.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, I was. And I had conversations with all the girls backstage when we got done. I mean, before and afterwards, but I was just like, thank you. This is just, I mean, everybody. That was a moment. I mean, just holding that. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but you
Yeah,
saw
no,
it.
no,
I was,
yeah, no. I understand. I know. Proud moment. So, how long have you been working TNA matches? A few months. A
uh,
few months.
yes, I think back in September, I had my first actually TV match, but July or August, I had an explosion match. So I've been, yeah, a few months now.
So, next question: has there been any talk of a possible contract to become an official referee of TNA, or is that something you can't discuss right now? If you can, I understand.
I have, I don't know. I
Okay.
just keep showing up and keep doing what I'm doing, and hope that if it does, I'm there to have that conversation. Again, that's one thing that I've learned, like, you just have to be there too. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'll keep these crossed too, man. Well, haven't you guys formed a faction? I think four of the TNA referees formed like a little faction. You have a T-shirt. I'm sorry, the name escapes me, but I remember seeing the pictures.
Yes, Daniel Spencer, he got them for us because he was just like, I love the four of us working together. He's like, if I could put a little dream team together, this is what it would be. And then it just a few people really, really liked it. And so we decided to start selling it, and all the proceeds go to the You Are More um uh situation there. And I just think that he did something where it meant something to him, but everybody saw it and they were like, oh, actually, that's kind of cool. He like that means something to him. And so it wasn't just something that somebody behind the scenes put together, like it was something that Daniel put together, and then people just really liked it. So it meant a lot to all four of us. Well, the three of us when he presented it to us. So it was really cool.
All right. You said they're selling T-shirts for charity. Is that what you said?
So on Pro Wrestling Tees, there's a couple brothers who come and they've got a foundation, You Are More,
Oh,
and
okay.
so we've got it on Daniel Spencer's actual like shop on the Pro Wrestling Tees, and so
Okay.
you can purchase it. And actually, Dewey's got one. I know we'll have one. But it was just something that was made for friends that ended up being something that everybody was like, no, actually, I really like that. So wrestling, you can do all these cool things. It's a fun time.
Is there any Alice Lane merchandise available yet, or no?
No, I'm
That's
actually been asked
coming. That's coming. That's coming, isn't it?
time, so I'm like, I actually had a kid one time bring a piece of paper, like an 8x10 printout of one of my promo pics, and was like, "Can you sign this?" I was like, "Oh, I might need to start taking some 8x10." So we'll take it. It's just as a referee, I don't know.
All right. Well,
So
I think you should think about it. I think you should think about it. I can see people walking around with Alice Lane T-shirts. So
I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
would would that blow your mind if you see people walking around with Alice Lane T-shirts?
Yeah, I'm like, because then my referees aren't supposed to be seen. So if I have people walk around with my merch, I'm being seen. Like I'm not doing my job. I am
Okay.
terrible at my job. Like
Okay.
no,
All right.
so
So no merchandise then. No merchandise then. We'll leave that on. All right. So you were the referee when Tessa Blanchard returned, the Jordan Grace match, and she absolutely clobbered you with a clothesline. Now I know Tessa Blanchard, one of the best in the world. I'm sure it looked great, but did that hurt at all or no?
it took a minute. I was
Okay.
glad that the other guys close by and that there was a quick little exit because she came in and meant business. So I know I'm sure it was nothing personal. I just happened to be the ref in the ring,
Okay.
but she made her statement.
Okay. Was that something you had to train for beforehand? How to take, or you, when you were in wrestling school, you knew how to take the bump?
That. So that was one thing I was like, hey, I know that refs aren't, like, that's not part of what we do. We don't bump all the time, but I know that I'm going to be bumped. So I would like to know these certain ways that I might get bumped so I have an idea of how I want to keep myself safe during them. So they were like, you might get clothesline, you might get smushed in the corner, you might get like a small little body slam or something like that. So I had ideas of how it could go down. And I just, when I saw it coming, I knew. I was like, oh, somebody's coming. And I just went with it. Because if you go with it, I have found it hurts a lot less than if you try to be like, nah, don't take it. Don't.
So you didn't know it was Tessa. You didn't know Tessa was coming then.
Oh,
Okay, okay. All right.
so,
That's so Tessa Blanchard, Alice Lane, no disqualification match. When does that happen? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Could happen for NCG. You both are on the same card. February 22nd, NCG.
that is true. It will be. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be That would be something, but I think there'll be a no offense. I think there'll be a quick match, Alice. I think it'll be over in a few steps. But let's move along here. Lost my oh here we go. So success came for you rather quickly. Some people might get cocky, but I've met you at NCG Wrestling. You're humble, you're grateful, you come across as grateful. Is that a fair assessment? No cockiness, you're just grateful?
I'm just very grateful. It's a big business, and I think that's the number one thing I learned, and that's kind of what has kept me humble about everything because there's not one person who can just be like, yeah, I'm the best in wrestling. Like, yeah, they can say that, but they don't mean that deep. They know that it's an accumulative effort. So if people are telling me that I've done a great job, it's been great to work with me, like they're telling me that all these people who have helped me have been great to work with. Because I mean, I came in not knowing. I just had an idea of what I wanted, and I asked a ton of questions. And I've asked a ton of people a ton of questions. So who they work with is just all those people, like all their help put together. So yeah, it's something that keeps me humble because I wouldn't have gotten to where I am had I just been like, yeah, I'll figure it out. No, I wouldn't.
Well, I do want to say all the success that you're achieving is well deserved. You're excellent, and people watching, most of the people that know me know that I work for NCG Wrestling. You do, and a lot of people, most of the people at NCG Wrestling agree that you're a fantastic referee. So I just want to let you know that you do a fantastic job. Speaking of NCG, February 22nd. Actually, let's go back to your first NCG Wrestling show. Was that the first time you were in Canada?
It
To
was.
work? Okay. How was that experience being in another country to referee for NTG Wrestling?
So that I had gone over with TNA, but just to help with backstage production setup and stuff. But I hadn't actually officiated in Canada, so that was my first time actually getting to officiate. So going over that time, I was like, "Ooh, I get to come back and say that I've finally refereed in Canada."
In Canada, yeah.
So then I got there, and it was a great experience. Everybody was so nice. Everybody was so welcoming. And do you need this? Can I help with this? And it was awesome. It was a great experience. And then they're like, after the show, do you want to come back? Yes, I do. I would love to. And so I enjoyed it.
All right, and you're back on February 22nd, so we look forward to that. It's going to be a great show. Again, Tessa Blanchard on the show. If you want to mix it up with Tessa, I have to get a little revenge. We could work something out there.
I
But you actually might be. I don't want to say, but there's a possibility that you're working her match against Freya the Slayer. But
will
WWE
see.
TNA. There's a WWE TNA partnership. What are your thoughts on that partnership? And is there a TNA versus WWE match that you would love to see?
Um, I mean, none of us. I don't even know if anybody who's signed knows much about it. It's one of those things when things pop up, they're just like, "Oh, that's cool," and so I'm even more behind the scenes than that. So, but it's been awesome getting to see it like backstage, and then when it happens live, everybody has that same reaction that we did. So that's been really neat. But oh, I'm trying to think. That's a good one. I think Lisha Edwards versus Liv Morgan would be fun. I think
That would be terrific. That would be a
I
great match. Yeah.
yeah, that one off the top of my head, that would be fun. But yeah, there's so many things that I think we're all just so excited to see if it could happen.
Did you form any relationship with Jordan Grace before she left? And were you upset that she left, or was there not that much of a
I
relationship?
I mean, she was very one of the nicest people in the locker room. So I had the opportunity to have a couple matches with her. She would I'd go up to her after the matches, thank her for the match, ask her a few things, gave me any time of the day that I like asked her for. But I also I'm always working. So forming relationships is not something that I get that much time to do. So I can tell that we had a really good respect, which was amazing and all that I personally needed. And it was awesome seeing how much everybody was just like, we're gonna miss her. And it it's true. She's amazing. As a person, as a performer, she shows up. And so that was one of those things where you're just like, good for her. She
Yeah.
deserves it.
Yeah, she's going to be a major star in the WWE. I think that's 100% guaranteed. She's going to be a major star. So, who do you think is the best referee of all time? Have you ever thought about that?
Mhm. I mean, I'm a big Kyoto fan,
Okay.
so but that's one of those things where I like to say that there's something the best of, like each one of them has something that's the best. And those are the things that I try to pull from them. But Kyoto's just one of those referees who I watch and it's hard for me to pinpoint things that I'm like, I don't know that I do that, or I don't know that I manipulate that, or I don't know that that would work for me. I watch him and I'm like, he's smooth. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think everybody has something that I can personally take. And when the refs have an authority about them, that's just one of the things I know as a female I need to keep. I was a part of me. And so I try to find other ways to show my authority because I'm like, I know how I do, but sometimes you got to step it up a notch. Like maybe the person you're in the ring with is just a little bigger than you're used to or something. And so maybe this ref that I'd been watching did something where I was like, you know what? That got through to them. Let me try that. So I watch the refs no matter what I'm watching, and it's hard not to just do that now and actually watch a wrestling match and watch the wrestling. So
Do you ever watch other referees and point out what they're doing wrong? I think you just mentioned you point out you watch what they're doing right, but do you ever watch what they're doing wrong and like what are they doing? Why are they doing that? They shouldn't be doing that.
yeah, and sometimes I have to remind myself promoters want different things. So if I go there, maybe what I am thinking they shouldn't be doing is what the promoter is wanting. So it's one of those things where I take note of I wouldn't do it that way, but maybe they're being asked to, or maybe the only person they've ever trained with taught them that way, kind of thing. But I just recognize that visually that wouldn't make sense for me to do, and so I just don't. Or if I'm like, hey, if I did it this way, maybe it would work, and so then I can try that. But I don't know. It's kind of it. There's very few things where I'm just like, whoa, that was just flat out wrong. I try to have like an open mind about why they did it.
If somebody came up to you today and said, you know, I want to be a professional wrestling referee, what would your advice be to them?
I would say watch as many like physical fights as you can. Watch that referee, watch those fights, and have an idea of that's what you're signing up to do. You're not coming in to just do a play or just like show off anything. You're there to watch 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 people fight. That's what you're signing up to do. So if
Okay.
you can do that, then you can work on everything else. But if you're just coming in to think that, like I said, you're just adding a little pizzazz, no, that's not what we're here for. We're real. We're the realest part of this match. So if you want to be the referee, you have to be ready to make every single match real because they really get hurt. They really need to know certain times. They really need to know these things. And if we're just like, hey, oh, they're gonna do this and you don't know what they're gonna do. You might think you know, but in reality, sometimes they don't even know. So like if you can be cued in and you can keep it real, that would be my first bit of advice. And then you can add on to that.
All right, man. So we're uh we're short on time. So I got two more questions and we'll wrap it up. Cool? So what are your goals for 2025? What are the we're 1 month in, a little over 1 month in. What are your goals for 2025?
So I would like to ref in as many states as I can.
Okay.
I know a lot of people like to check them all off. I I just think there's something in each state that's a little different. And every time I go somewhere, like the fans in each state are just different, especially on like the indie levels. It's one thing when you're in huge arenas and the fans are used to seeing the same stuff or whatever the case may be. They know the stories, but when you're in the small arenas, those fans, they're different. And so I'd like to experience fans in like every single state. That would definitely be one of my top goals.
What about countries? What about other countries? I know you've been to Canada, but what about like Japan,
Thought about
or England?
Yes, England. I've definitely thought about. I've had family that's went over there, and so I think that I could maybe get a hold of some people over there to get me in.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, countries is definitely on the list.
All right. And last question, what is the dream referee job? What is your dream? Where would you ultimately like to end up?
WWE. We all
Okay,
do.
there we go.
That's the
I
greatest.
I know that's the answer, but I had to ask the question because some people might have said AEW or TNA, but no, WWE. Okay, so
Yep.
WWE.
No, I am enjoying my time that I'm being able to be at TNA, and
Okay,
we all eventually want to work to make that stage. And so it's pretty cool that we all work together to help each other achieve that. That's so awesome.
so coming up in the future is going to be the Triple H pointing photo to Alice Lane, right?
One day. Oh my
One
gosh,
day. There
yeah.
you go. So what's I we know you have February 22nd NCG Wrestling, and I will see you there. But what other shows you have coming up? Anything else you want to plug?
We'll actually be with TNA or in Orlando that week before
Okay,
NC. That it would actually be live. So that's gonna be awesome. And then I'm at Bullpen next week. I'll make my debut over there.
okay,
As I and Ellie are gonna face off. I'm pretty pumped about that match. And one of my girls from Colorado is coming out, so she'll be
okay.
on the show. So I'll kind of be everywhere in February.
All right. How many promotions have you worked for? I know I ran a few off in but it seems like everybody wants Alice Lane to referee their show.
Oh, well, and I want to referee as many shows as possible. Every time I get into the locker room, I mean, half the people I've seen before, and then half the people I've never seen, and I'm just like, let's keep growing. Let's see how many people we can work with because I enjoy it a lot.
All right. Okay. Well, Alice, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. I wish you nothing but the best luck. I hope you get a contract from TNA, and I hope one day you land your dream job at the WWE. And we should do this again the next couple months. We should catch up, do another podcast. You're always welcome. And again, wish you nothing but the best of luck. You're a fantastic referee. See you on February 22nd, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.